Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and asked that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hey everybody, let me know if you can hear me. Hi Adrienne, Jen, Zoe, Stacy, good to see you guys. Midwest Mima, good to see you. Melanie, you made it. So happy to hear or to see you. Hey Pointer Lover and Cindy, everyone's here. I'm not going to go through everyone that pops in because I want to get into it because I'm a little bit late. My bad, guys. Thanks for waiting. I was trying to organize to see if Scottish Queen was going to come on. She, I think, is going to join us in a little bit. So I'll get us started and let me pull up just what I want to share because we keep going through these old media reports and I need to change my banner as well. And while I'm just setting things up and waiting for her, if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to my second channel, it's linked in the description box. It's just like a hobby channel. It's like a doll community, but it's for adults. So I'm just hanging out over there to decompress from true crime, and you guys can hang out with me if you want. Hit that like button, please. Make sure you're subscribed. Some people have commented saying that YouTube has unsubscribed them, and that's like happened like a lot. There's like a lot of glitches and stuff like that that tends to happen, or people don't get notified when we go live. So just make sure that you turn on the notifications, make sure that you didn't get unsubscribed by the bots and all that. So okay, yeah, so we are going back to 2018. It has been 7 years since this case broke. And this channel, let me just give a credit to them. She followed this for a long time. The channel is called I Swear Kimberly, or Swear Kimberly, and she has a whole Watts media playlist. So we've kind of just been going through that, looking at the case from, yeah, I know, Pointer Lover, and you're not the only one who say that they don't get notifications. It's really irritating. Hold on, let me turn this fan off. I forgot to turn it off, guys. I really want to just tweet to YouTube support on X and just reiterate that a lot of my subs are saying they never get notified, even with the bells on. Thank you for the memberships. Welcome new members. Thanks, Jen. You're awesome. I got an, and that's the thing too, is I've seen even myself, Lady Sarah, that I'll get notified about somebody that I subscribe to's live stream like 3 hours later. And by the time I click on the notification, obviously the stream is done. And I'm like, why did I just get notified? It's just little things like that that is just so annoying about YouTube. Not sure what's going on, but it's been like this for a long time. Hi, Jody. Yeah, it's like hit or miss for me too. Okay, so while we wait, like I said, Scottish Queen will be coming on. I've titled the stream on the thumbnail that the district attorney and law enforcement need to explain this. And I pretty much was just referring to some aspects in the case that have been proven as fact, and almost a direct quote. The district attorney just says we have no explanation for it, and that's just not good enough in my opinion. And specifically in reference to the forensic evidence that came out showing that Nicole Kessinger had Googled Chris Watts and then Shanann Watts a month later, all a year before the murders took place and well before she ever allegedly worked with Chris, where she met him allegedly. So yeah, we are just going to continue because, like you guys had been commenting when I took a break from live streaming, that, oh, please come back and discuss this case. We want to do the Watts live streams. And I totally understand the fascination and the rabbit holes that we end up jumping down with this case. And I think that a lot of questions will always linger because it was never fully explained by the district attorney or law enforcement, some really questionable aspects of this case. So just got a little list I'll go through while we wait for Scottish Queen. Hang on. Oh, well, that's lucky, Kelly. Glad you're here. Hello, and hi, everyone that's joining. Okay, I'm going to be reading, so I won't be able to look at chat, but thanks for being here, guys, and to the replay viewers. So, I mean, Googling them before a year before the murders is questionable, obviously. We also would like the district attorney and law enforcement to explain why didn't we have any confirmation of Nicole Kessinger clocking into work the morning of the murders, from the time that she pings in Frederick at 6 in the morning to the time that she's telling us that her friend Jim can confirm that she got home from work around 3:45-ish. We don't have a direct alibi or a direct location of Nicole Kessinger during the morning hours of that day. So we want answers for that. And we also have no statement from her or anybody in their law enforcement notes explaining where she was. There's like a note saying that on Tuesday she left work early. I believe that was on a written law enforcement note in the discovery files because she was sick. But yeah, exactly, Holly. Good to see you. Jim's confirmation means nothing because it's after the murders, right? And who's Jim? Like how are we supposed to know that he's credible enough to be, you know? Oh yeah, Deco. I'll put in my little restoration, and it's going to be like a restoration and thrifting channel for like the dolls and Barbies. I'll link it right now. It's in my description box, but it's probably just easier for me to just do it than the mods finding it. But oh, and it's good to see you. Yeah, it's called Dollhouse Diaries. You can find it with the @ sign at Dollhouse Diaries and then the number 11. In case you are not seeing the link in chat, which is going through right now. Oh, thanks, Johnny. Well, my mods are fast. Okay. So, back to the little list of what questions we would like answered by the district attorney and law enforcement. And these questions are never going to go away until they are kind of explained. So, while on the subject, the ping in Frederick on the morning of the murders, we'd like that explained. And that was confirmed through the discovery files in her court records as well. Hi, Zawoki. We need to do a live stream soon. 100%. Because I know that people in my Facebook group have asked for it too. So we got to plan one. And guys, check him out. I know you guys probably already know that he is digging into this case as well. And I'm sure that he'd like a lot of his questions answered by the district attorney and law enforcement also. And the prison interview just left us with more questions. So I hope that they weren't thinking that that was going to satisfy the public's need for answers in this case. Nicole Kessinger did a factory reset on her phone and tried to destroy her SIM card before handing her phone over to law enforcement. So she actually did destroy the SIM card. Text message between her and Agent Kopak confirmed that it broke and that she was at the Verizon store. Oh, thank you, Zawoki, and welcome to the new members. And hey, Debbie Fox and everyone here. Yeah, I can't believe Jim wasn't interviewed. And Joanne, there's a rumor from a reliable sleuther, especially in this case, that Jim was interviewed, but it wasn't made public. So I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's very interesting. If it's not true, it still is interesting because it's like, why? Why wouldn't somebody like him be interviewed? And remember, Jim and NK were both sick. Days after the murders, Chris was not. Just stating the facts. Just want to leave that out there. Fingerprints lifted off of the trash bags were never identified. So that leaves us with huge questions. Also, why did Nicole Kessinger need to purchase new shoes the week of the murders? That's not in the discovery files. That was something that web sleuths found after the case concluded through the app Venmo, the Cash App Venmo. And you can have your transactions public or private. And during the time at 2019, I would say it was probably discovered, hers were public. And during the week of like just a few days after, she needed new shoes. And it might mean nothing. It might mean something. But the thing is, we never really got it explained. And you guys know just from true crime and watching forensic files, like a lot of times shoes can do somebody in, like as far as a footprint left behind that matched a pair of shoes they still owned. Or there's been instances where soil or rocks that were found in the suspect's shoe were unique to a certain region and terrain, and they've been able to put the alleged killer there based off of the shoes. I mean, there's just so many different scenarios, and of course it would be conjecture and just speculation as to why she needed new shoes that week, but it's still an interesting thing that I think happened along the timeline of like her actions the week of. So the day that Shanann goes missing, it's confirmed that she's searching her, not only just like news articles, but on her Facebook. It was confirmed then that she starts Googling all that stuff about Amber Fry and Amber Fry's net worth. Do people hate Amber Fry? Amber Fry's book deal. And all throughout that week of her having that interview with her father there's 2 interviews. Her dad was present. One of them is just the audio that we have from the hidden microphone from the agent, the FBI agent Mark. I can't remember his last name. Oh, 1 year. Awesome. Thank you so much for your membership. I really appreciate you and everybody who joins and gets gifted and sticks around. I really, really appreciate it, guys. So it's just interesting that in all that time, you know, she's leaving work early because she's sick. Then she ends up like calling into work, having the interviews at the park that was recorded by FBI, and then having to go into the interviews after the bodies are discovered. All this going on, and she needed to purchase new shoes. It's just kind of odd. It could be nothing at the same time. Did NK have a child, or was that a rumor? It's nothing confirmed 100%. It's a rumor as far as I know, but anything's possible at this point. It's been 7 years. The iPhone membership link, Kimberly, let me see if I can do that as well while we're waiting for Scottish Queen. I hate how it's not compatible both ways for the membership links like that. YouTube really needs to step it up. Okay, so yeah, another thing that sort of I wish could be explained, but like isn't like the pinging and her cyber stalking the family before ever working with Chris and ever knowing him allegedly, like those really need to be explained, in my opinion, by the district attorney or law enforcement at some point. These other things, I guess, like they're not like as obligated, in my opinion, to explain, but they are very questionable. And it's just talking about, okay, so in addition to the prints that weren't identified on the trash bags at Survey, when NK is listening in on that conversation that Chris is talking about, and it pretty much we all concluded, and it's very clear that while he's on the phone with law enforcement, he's using his other phone and he's on the phone with NK and she's like listening in. I wish that could really be like ironed out and explained, but I guess it kind of is. Like in the prison interview, they're like, do you think that she thought that you were on the phone with law enforcement already? And he's like, she could have thought that. It's like, no, she did think that. Going through my list. Oh, I mean, and that's the other thing too, is the same day that law enforcement found out about the affair and right when she like comes forward after she knows her working mails have been discovered between her and Chris, she's suddenly Googling things like, can cops trace text messages? What's the difference between texting content and text message detail? And then all those searches are deleted. Hey, Sleuthy Goosey. Hey, James. It could be, James. It really could be. She could have had morning sickness. I think it has more to do with breathing in the fumes of like oil and the near the tanks. Same with her friend, Leave Jim Alone, who was also sick. But a lot of people think that too. Exactly. Deleting stuff is always going to look like consciousness of guilt. And when she deleted the nude messages and the pics of them together like that, everyone kind of was like, well, okay, you wouldn't want that out there either if you were in her position and all this stuff. And it's like, well, she did more than just deleted like pictures between them and messages between them. She deleted phone calls that she was making to Chris on the day of the murders. Why are you doing that? Explain those searches a year prior. Explain. I mean, and the thing is, the silence speaks volumes. Hey, Brooks. 7 years. Kind of like when Brad Holder, part of the Delphi case, for those who don't know, nuked his entire Facebook account after a court filing pointed out all the things he posted that suggested he had knowledge of a crime scene only law enforcement saw. It never looks good, and it leaves a lot of holes in the whole state's theory of what took place in both cases, in Delphi case and Watts, and other cases too. I mean, even the Karen Reed case, she was acquitted. The state's theory just wasn't adding up. The evidence just showed other things. I hope so too. You guys are gonna think it's might be over the top, but no, somebody sent me, because on Instagram, Weld County has like their own Instagram page. Hold on, let me see if I can see. Weld County District Attorney office has their own Instagram page. And my friend sent me a recent video that he had done. And by the way, he looks terrible. He looks terrible.
Thank you. I thank you for the support that this office gets. I thank you to those who did
Hold
cast
on,
a vote for me.
It's echoing, so I'm just going to turn it off. But doesn't he look so old, like much older than 7 years have gone by? Don't you think? To me, he just looks like, and maybe it's just terrible because of the reflection. It's coming from my phone. But he looks like he has aged so much to me. Probably all the secrets he's keeping. I'm telling you, secrets are not good. Yeah. He does look bad. He does. I hope he's not sick.
I think that we want.
But it doesn't seem like it. I think, because that wouldn't have anything to do with why he looks like sagging skin and like the white hair, I should say. He looked much, much, much younger 7 years ago. And like, although think about it, 7 years is almost a decade. That's what's so crazy. Yeah, he looks not good. He is a liar. He is a liar. It's confirmed. You don't even have to say, in my opinion, Adrian, he's a liar. It's confirmed. And that's the thing, too. I don't know if you guys remember that live stream that I did. Oh, gosh, I don't even know. I've tried to link the live streams that I did with CDT in my playlist for this case because we did so many collabs over there that I added it to my Chris Watts playlist on my channel so you can see them. But there's a live stream where we go through the Facebook page for the district attorney. And there were so many people who were leaving bad reviews about District Attorney Rourke. Yes, it's the prosecutor. And think about it. It's just so sick. Like the whole Idaho case, we discussed like the level of horror that case was. And then just think about this case too. And yet both of them just given a plea deal and death penalty removed. Like this father, according to district attorney, shoved his own children in those tanks, killed his pregnant wife, his unborn child. And instead of getting us answers before this plea deal is signed, like, okay, you want to shut it down, but you at least do the steps to kind of conclude the questions and make sure the evidence matches, what he's saying, but that was never done. And here we are. Yes, Santa, the prosecutor in the Idaho case, is strange. That's what happens when you harbor lies and secrets. I'm telling you, I totally believe that. I think the same thing. Oh, awesome, YouTube user. I'm so glad. I thought the same thing about like certain people who, in other cases, I don't want to name names, but that got cancer and then they passed away. Like, I think that sometimes sicknesses arise with huge secrets. Like, and that other case that I'm referring to was also a Colorado case. Oh, and guess what else I found out? So the Barry Morphew case, I know you guys are familiar with that. It also took place in Colorado. I know you guys are familiar with that as well. I thought for a second, like while looking through a recent article about how they released Barry Morphew on bail while he awaits his trial, I thought about how CBI agent Kobach, the guy who has all the interviews with NK in this case, I thought about how I remembered he was tied to the Barry Morphew case. And I ended up just looking up, the connection between Kevin Kobach to Morphew's case as well. And it came up legal documents and articles about how Barry Morphew is suing Kevin Kobach as part of his lawsuit against Colorado State, because when he was arrested years ago for Suzanne's murder, they pretty much didn't have Suzanne's body yet. So the case ended up getting fumbled. There was like other DNA that was found in Suzanne's car too, and that DNA that was found in her car, I guess, linked back to somebody who essayed multiple people in other states. So the state didn't have a really strong case against Barry without Suzanne's body at the time. So he got let go. And now he gets rearrested after her body's been found, and they have more stable evidence against him. And Colorado lets him out on bail. And so I'm curious if he still has this lawsuit against Colorado State for the first arrest, because I don't know. But yeah, Kevin Kopak is tied to that drama as well. And then it didn't specify what exactly he did in the involvement of like why he's added to the lawsuit, but I'm curious exactly what it is. But who knows if that's even going to carry on, because now he's arrested again, but out on bail. But
picture, whether there was infidelity, who knows?
So yeah, at this point, this is pretty much where we left off, because we haven't really made it far in this video because we just keep pausing and talking. But at this point, August 21st, so only like, less than 2 weeks after the murders, they still don't know. They still don't know about Nicole Kessinger. That's how much she was protected. And I don't even think the arrest affidavit has been released to the public at this point either. And everything in the arrest affidavit of Chris Watts has a section at the end that's all blacked out and redacted. And it was to protect Nicole Kessinger. Hey, Katie, and everyone who's here.
Either side, right? But the truth is there are facts about their financial existence that are starting to emerge that start to create the canvas of their lives. What are some of those facts?
Yeah, and so the reports are coming out that there may have been at least $500,000 worth of debt that was accumulated by the family, not to mention, mortgages and other financial obligations, and also just difficulties surrounding employment. And some of those things are just coming out. And what's interesting, Ashley, is that, of course, social media paints one picture that most of us, I think, are hesitant to put anything negative on social media so it can appear that everything is going just fine. But now that these stories are emerging from families and friends, as well as the hard facts of their financial situation, that's probably what the district attorney will look at in terms of a potential motive.
So August 21st, it's made known to the public that their financial situation was bad. Struggling with debt. All the records kind of point to that. The court date that they had that you can see in the discovery files that was coming up was in reference to the HOA suing them for non-payment. That is discussed in... Oh, sorry. I was just texting my husband about the baby real quick. Everything's good, but... So yeah, everything that was discussed at this point is laying it out to the media that they have financial problems, but what is not being discussed at this moment is Nicole Kessinger, and that he actually has a mistress. So everyone who's watching this live in 2018 is like, oh, wow. So financial struggles are why he killed her. And they have no idea. Oh yeah, that was an update a couple years ago, Marcelli. But yeah, what an update that was from Chris in prison. But yeah, the last update I think that we've heard is that he's looking for a wife. There's a girl who frequently visits him, and there's also another female pen pal who has come forward with letters between her and Chris is basically saying that he's a new man and he's not the same guy he was and all this stuff. That's pretty much the latest update that we have. If you guys know of anything else, please add it. But yeah, so isn't that interesting that at this point, almost 2 weeks after the crime, they don't know about Nicole, but they're painting this whole motive as possibly being a financial reason, which in my opinion, in my theory, I think the financial thing was a part of it, because if this whole explosion took place, then the life insurance and the wrongful death lawsuit, much like the house explosion the year prior, those families sued Anadarko as well. I just think that the financial situation was sort of a motive in my theory too. But like, I just really don't think that Chris did all this for NK. It just doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you guys? Yeah, shame on the girls who support him and playing them off. He's playing them all for sure. Oh, for sure. For sure. He plays these games with everybody. Yes, the media, aka, and what else did it come out too before the plea deal was signed? That they were investigating a leak from law enforcement to the media. So everything that the media was kind of getting, because remember, arrest affidavits not public at this point, autopsies, they don't even know the cause of death yet. So all that is just kept from the public at this point. But yeah, they were kind of trying to show you through these media clips, like when she's talking about Chris, go get me a glass of wine and stuff like that. Like she was just joking around, you know? But the media kind of was playing it as like, oh, she was too much to deal with. And they had financial troubles. And they were hiding the fact that there was this mistress involved. And not because like, oh, well, then that was the motive. So he did it all for NK. I think that they were hiding NK because things were kind of coming out behind the scenes that like, oh, she's kind of, I don't know, things aren't really adding up. Her first interview says this, and then as we're continuing to interview her, the story's kind of changing. Her statements are changing. We don't know where she was that morning, but we have a ping of her here. We just tried to get her phone extracted and she, broke her SIM card somehow. Like all these things were kind of happening behind the scenes. And I think that they were just like, oh my gosh, like this is like not good. We've got video evidence of our Frederick officers carrying out trash bags that are plastic, that are not, efficient when trying to keep DNA and evidence preserved. You're supposed to put it in the paper bags. So all that I just think was accumulating behind the scenes, and they're like, this isn't good. Like she's calling Chris, and her phone records are showing she's calling Chris, and then she's calling this gym guy right back. Like all that's the pattern for the last 6 weeks. And this gym guy is her alibi, but she's also telling us in her interview to leave Jim alone, and he's not a part of this. But then she's also saying that Jim can verify what time she got home from work that day. Like, it's like, makes no sense. And the more I think about it too, is like, I think that they absolutely did interview Jim. There's so much that they didn't give us. But
and when we say that Shanann Watts posted lovingly about her children and about her husband, that is not an understatement. In fact, it's hard to find anyone who seemed to love her husband more. I want you to just look at how she talked about Chris Watts on her Facebook page, especially since she met him in a low point of her life when she was gravely ill, and how he changed everything.
My health challenges happened. I was diagnosed with some health challenges, and then I met Chris. I met Chris because of those health challenges, and because of my health challenges, because I got so sick, I let him in, And he only knew me at that time. He knew me at my worst, and he accepted me. And, you know, through your vows, like through sickness and everything, he's been there. And it's hard for people to get. It's hard for me to understand. But he stuck around. And he stuck around because he was the one for me. And he is amazing. And I can't tell you how wonderful he is.
Not if what the reports say are true, that he confessed to the police that he actually murdered her and his 2 little girls. And you know,
and here we go. Just to get things correct, he didn't confess to killing the kids at this point. But some source from the law enforcement is telling the media that he did confess to killing them all at that point. And she said, if the reports are true that he killed her and that he killed his kids, hey, Florida Bass, good to see you. And the reason why I highlight like how this is how it was being portrayed to everyone at the time is because if somebody else is involved and the other person who is kind of involved in this love triangle is NK, just look at the big picture here. The public doesn't know about the mistress. The public doesn't even know how anybody was killed. And the public only knows that they were having financial problems, that they're showing clips of her kind of being a little bossy, not on this segment, but another one that they showed. So it's painting this whole picture, and they're also saying that Chris confessed to killing them all, and he didn't at that point. He even in the county jail kept saying that he didn't kill the kids. And when Tammy was saying, then what did Shanann do? What did Shanann do? He said no at first, that they loved their kids. Agreed. They only know what the news told them, nothing about the discovery. Yeah, and like we've seen in other cases, so many cases, sometimes the prosecution will withhold the discovery files until they're like really up until trial. Like they have to hand it over before the trial starts, but like they might not hand it over until last minute. Like, for example, I always use this as the example because I thought it was so interesting. The Snapchat video of Alex Murdaugh where you hear his voice that pretty much convicted him. Like that was like evidence that he was in the kennel area at the time that Paul was down there before he was shot. But the defense team didn't know that and didn't get handed that until pretty much the trial. And then it was like it was confirmed to them that like, oh wow, they have this huge digital print of our defendant, our client in the crime scene area. So I'm saying this whole was leave Jim alone interviewed or not, like there and other things too, we don't even know. Like the discovery files is not the Bible of this case, pretty much. It's just what they were given the public. Hi, Deb. Good to see you. Glad you're here from Australia. Yeah, calling Chris and then calling. Right. And if there wasn't leave Jim alone sentence exclaimed by the mistress, if that didn't exist, if it didn't exist that leave Jim alone was her alibi for when she got home from work that day, if that didn't exist, and if it didn't exist that we knew that Jim was sick, also that it's kind of iffy about what day Jim left. She makes it seem like he left Monday. And then there's other statements that are basically the father saying on Wednesday he went over there and Jim was there. So if all that stuff didn't exist, I might just think the calls between Chris and Jim are nothing. But accumulate all that together, it's very odd. And the fact, hey, Roxanne, so glad you could pull yourself away from football and pop in. You're awesome. But yeah, just think about all that together. The phone calls and when NK pings in Frederick the morning of the murders, it's because she called Jim for only like a minute or something. You know? Yeah, and the fact that Jim also has a key to my apartment, according to NK. I give him a key to my place because, you know, sometimes he waits for me before work and my dog loves him. It's just, I don't know, there's something I would love to have seen the inside of her apartment. I really, really would have. Because I bet you it was like a little hideout area. I doubt it was like cutesy and like a girl's apartment. I just get the feeling that it was like someplace for NK and her dark friends to do whatever. Yes. And the only interview that stands out with a different tone and a different narrative of events from NK, because in the first interview is the first interview with FBI and it's the worst audio. I source it a lot because I think that her first statements, when she thought that she was just meeting FBI at a park to talk and her dad and her father were there, her father and her dog were there. I don't think that she expected the FBI agent to have a hidden microphone. And in fact, she didn't even know that he was FBI because at the end of that interview, the father, NK's dad, asked who they were with. And he was like, the FBI. And it was you could kind of hear it in the father's tone that he was kind of like surprised, or like, it's hard to explain. We would have to listen to it again. But there's kind of like a heaviness to like the vibe after that. Like it was kind of like, oh wow, like, and she didn't know that was being recorded. But she says a lot of different stuff in that first interview. And then after that point, yes, she like ran those interviews. Those phone interviews are a joke with Kevin Kovac too. Complete joke. And I guarantee there's stuff that they edited and they never put out. Yes. And that's the thing, is the NK was into dark things came out in the Cato book. And I always say that like that's his third confession. It's not credible at all, as it doesn't match the forensic evidence of like the autopsy and other things. And he's changed his statements numerous times about things. But there's stuff that he says, like dark, NK and her friends were into dark things, that I do think are the truth. And when you accumulate that with everybody else who have come forward, Anna, that Christina girl, David Carter, Dylan, like you can say, like, you can pull out each one of these people and say that they're not credible for X, Y, and Z reasons, but it just, you see a pattern of people who get close to him, and all of them will say that there's something more with the mistress. And I just don't see what they would gain by like all saying the same narrative. It just seems obvious to a lot of people at this point, 7 years later, that there's just stuff that never was explained, and we really want to know why. Yeah, how much can we believe? Yeah, honestly, Diva Girl, I believe very little. Very, very little from that book. I would say NK being into dark things and anything that he kind of describes as that about the mistress is accurate, because that's something that he's stayed steadfast on since really the prison interview, even his phone calls with his parents when they reference NK. He calls her like that woman, like stuff like it's never like you don't really hear much of like every tone that he has had about NK since being in jail and prison has been negative. Yeah, that's just not true, Gerald the Seal. We went through why, like, I don't think that that's true at all, and it did a live stream on it a couple weeks ago. But we show Chris's full extraction of his phone, and that app was not on it. So I just not buying that. I think that Dylan got confused. And the reason why I think he got confused is because I pulled up other statements and conversations that we've had with Dylan in my Facebook group. And we've been like, well, I think you only know this much because Chris hasn't told you like the facts of the case, but it's actually this. And he said something along the lines of not wanting to know all the details or something. So I think like sometimes when he says things that he's getting things kind of confused, like we know that Chris and NK communicated in that secret calculator app. We know that for a fact. And that pretty much is encrypted, just like I think he just got the apps confused. Yeah, we don't have any Celebrate report or any phone extraction report of Chris. Another thing that has been kind of kept from the public in this case, which is kind of odd, because if he's the sole person who's responsible for this, the motive is being painted by the media at this point, August 21st, that it's financial reasons. They're trying to push the theory of Shanann being bossy or pushy or this or that. They're hiding. Law enforcement has not told the media about NK. So why, the fact that we don't have much of Chris's phone is questionable. Like we have little things that they've put in the discovery files timeline. Like it'll say Chris opened Instagram at this time, or Chris did this or that and deleted it. So they did a full extraction, and we have the paperwork to prove that they did the full extraction, but we don't have anything in reference to like a full Celebrate report and full text messages. The fact that they tried to paint it as, well, NK deleted stuff so they couldn't get it. Like that's, everyone knows by now, 2025, that's just BS. When we talk about what, Melanie, specifically, I'm curious. Ronnie said the new wife moved to an apartment by Chris's prison. Oh my word. Things are getting serious. But like, so they're legally married? Or was that not approved? Explain the dark things. Oh, that I feel like I need like a whole live stream for. I can just kind of give you a little idea of what I think. I think it has to do with some dark, possibly satanic type of cult. Also, I think there's an element of eco-terrorism involved in this. But all that's kind of explained in other videos. It's a very, very deep, dark rabbit hole. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was ever allowed, because I think they have to like apply or petition to be, it wasn't approved. Sorry, Chris. 7 years. Think about that. Only 7 years after the crime. What a POS. Is this the same Heather? Does anyone know? Because I got your messages, Diva Girl, but I'm wondering if it's not the same Heather from a few years ago, is it? The Dark Things Live. Marriage was denied. I kind of want my moderator and friend Jay to come up for that. He knows like a lot of like stuff in reference to, I don't know, because it's a deep topic, and I don't really know all the ins and outs of the different like branches of, I don't know, Satanism and all that. Like I just don't. And every time that we tried to talk about it, people would be like, that doesn't mean that it's this. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I just feel like there's something. She called somebody a spiritual advisor, and she called him on the day of the murders. It's on her phone records. And then when we jumped down the rabbit hole of who he was tied to some very like questionable, like looked like churches, but it was like not Christian or Jewish or Hindu or it just looked, I don't know, guys, questionable. People have pretty much tied him to Satanist church, I believe. I know that 10 to Life also discussed that. And that guy, I mean, it shows up. That's the thing, is it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And the other thing that makes it kind of like, oh, it was a fact. Like, remember, you can still do it. Like when you guys search somebody's name on Google, and then there's like different websites that come up that show like their address or like their phone number. That's like websites have sold to other websites, and that's how they have your public information. You can do it. Everybody, I'm sure, like your stuff will pop up. But when we did it for Nicole Kessinger's father, like very, very early on in the case, his like political affiliation was listed, and then also his religion was listed as Wiccan. So I'm not saying that that is dark magic or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, when we would discuss the facts and that's what came up, people would be like, oh, that doesn't mean that it's Satanist. It's like, I'm not saying that. So it's just a very, like, I don't know, hard topic. Like when you don't know, like, all the ins and outs, and it's like, I don't know, there's just something about her and her friends and all that, like, and that guy that she called on the day of the murders Monday, that leads me to think there was something dark going on. And the other thing that kind of has always stuck out to me too, that has been shown as fact, is Shanann said something in a text message to a friend, just talking about her issues with Chris at the time. And she said, Chris told me that he said that he's going to go to hell for what he said about the baby. And I just thought that that was like, stood out as kind of strange to me, that like, because like in all the Facebook posts and videos and all that, like we don't ever hear really them talk about like heaven or hell, or like there is one video, okay, I correct myself, where Chris is praying at the dinner table with the girls. But it's just stood out to me that whatever Chris said about the baby, like he's told Shanann that he thought he was going to go to hell for saying it. And it's like, I don't know, that just like made me think that like, was there some sort of like spiritual like struggle or battle, or I don't know. I just really have always thought that like he gave into like dark side, like stuff that always lingered there, but it like was underneath the surface. And then being introduced to NK, like he was able to embrace parts of him that like always existed, but like, I don't know. It's just deep. The fact that he didn't want it, he thought he was going to go to hell for. Yeah. But it's just like, I guess not so much that what he said that he thought he was going to hell for, the fact that he said he was going to hell. Like it made me just think that like, well, maybe there was some sort of like, I don't know, like just think if he's plotting with people to do this, because I believe it was premeditated. So he for sure plotted either by himself, whatever you choose to believe, or with people to do this. So there was something in him that was thinking about going to heaven and hell. So I don't know. I just always thought that there was something that maybe NK like showed him as far as her spiritual like beliefs and stuff that he just kind of like got wrapped up in. I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying? Yeah, the battery lyrics, that kind of goes along with my whole theory of what I'm kind of talking about too, is because she sent him the lyrics to the Metallica song Battery. Everyone knows that Metallica was his favorite band. If you cyber stalked the family for a year, you would see multiple posts of pictures and videos. It was like the birthday before the crime. No, I'm sorry. The year before the murder year. So 2017 in May. So only a couple months before NK Googles Chris or looks Chris up. Shanann brought Chris to a Metallica show. So if you're looking at her public profile back in 2017, into 2018, like you would know without a doubt that he's a huge Metallica fan. Like you just see the public video and pictures from the concert. So she texts Chris the day of the murders, the lyrics to that Battery song. And she says, what does this mean? What does this song mean or whatever? And in my opinion, I think that was a manipulation tactic for her to kind of make him think that like it was like destiny, like your favorite band has this song about batteries. And it wasn't because she knew that the kids were going to be put in the batteries. It was because she knew that the explosion was going to happen and he was going out to those tanks to tend to the oil leak, which was documented. Yeah. You know, to kind of be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And there were things that like, there's so many things along the way that kind of like lead me to think that there was some sort of like, come into my realm and believe what I believe, and you'll see that it's the better way and all this stuff. And it was just BS. So I think that she was like, see, it's your destiny to follow through with this explosion theory and to get rid of your wife who's pregnant. And then that explosion didn't happen. And everything fell apart when Nicole Atkinson showed up, and everything, the children witnessed everything and had to be silenced. So that's what I think about the battery. Because a lot of people think that she sent the song to him or that he like sent the song to her. No, she sent the lyrics to him and was like, what does this mean? So she's just a piece of work. The way that she acted in the interview tells me everything I need to know about how she probably acted with Chris. Right. And it another telling statement in that first interview with FBI that she didn't know was being recorded is she was like, are you guys going to ask me to like wear like a hidden microphone? Like pretty much asking if they were going to wire her up. And they were like, well, we don't know, like pretty much saying like they didn't know if it was going to get to that, but if it did get to that, would she be willing to do it? But like before they could get that whole question out there, she was like, okay, good, because like I really don't want to. And it was like, I don't know, it was just weird that like she asked if they were going to put a wire on her. And then when they were saying kind of like, well, we don't know, like perhaps, and would you be willing to do that? And then she was like, before they could ask it completely, she was like, okay, good, I don't want to. It was like, what are you afraid that's going to be caught on that wire? So that was always interesting to me. That was stated. It's very subtle, these little like sentences that in a lot of that interview is so hard to hear. And I feel like it was done on purpose to make it kind of like very staticky and stuff like that. But she asked that in that interview, which I thought was telling and interesting. But yeah, she wanted to wear one, but then was like, oh, I don't know if I would. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Even if they did wire her up, they'd never release it. For sure. Yeah, she was testing to see if they considered her one of them or a suspect with Chris, maybe. I don't see how they couldn't have. Why? Why, Nicole? I'm trying to think. There was something else, too. Just looking at your guys' comments in chat. Sorry. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. So the battery song was just a coincidence on the day of the murders? No, I think that it was supposed to be the day of the explosion. So she knew that he was going to do the explosion. She knew about Shanann being a part of that, I think. and her asking about like, what does this song mean? I think she was like hoping that it would come across to him as like, this is his destiny, etc., if that makes sense. Yeah, they were so little. Shoot, now I forgot again what I was going to say that she asked in the first interview. Oh, no, I remember. Sorry, guys. She said, he'll do whatever I say anyways. Like something along the lines of like, if I called him right now, he would pick up. He'll do whatever I say. So it was just like, and then she never said anything like that again after being for sure knowing that she's on the record. She never said anything like that again.
He wasn't the only one who thought that Daddy was amazing. Bella thought he was pretty amazing too. What you just saw was Shanann Watts 4 months ago. What you're about to see is Bella Watts from just 2 months ago and just a few days before Father's Day.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books, he ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue, my daddy is love you.
And 3 months ago, that daddy had a birthday. And for his birthday, Shanann said something on Facebook after putting together a beautiful collage of their family. 16 different photographs, all put together with this. Today, I celebrate you, Chris. You are absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me in 2010. That year, you were placed in my life when I was at my worst. I was just diagnosed with lupus and fibro, and I felt like my world was crumbling around me. Then I met you. We have so many incredible memories of these past 8 years. 2 beautiful girls, moved halfway across the world, sold house, built our home for our family, and you constantly do for us. You work your ass off. You're an amazing husband and even better dad. You are the blessing I've been looking for my whole life. You are chasing big goals and dreams and never stop. You support me in so many ways. I hope you have an amazing birthday. I love you, baby.
Okay. Let me see. So apparently that was the last birthday post for Chris in 2018. I know I almost skipped Bella singing because it like really hurts me. But then I was like, we have to keep their memory on. Do I think Danielle, who was the friend that NK admittedly hosted the weekend before the murders, who was at the house, the lazy dog night, do I think Danielle was Shanann lookalike? Yes, I do think that they looked identical. And Shanann killed anyway, or would Shanann have been put in the car supposedly? I think that somebody was going to drive the Lexus out to the oil site. I don't think that it would have been staged that she found out about the affair, so she was coming to confront. I think that it would have been staged as she was bringing Chris his work boots that were in the Lexus trunk in the cargo area, which is like underneath the trunk. It's like a secret compartment that Lexus had. His new work boots were in there. I think he was going to stage text messages between him and whoever was at the house who was going to bring the Alexis out there, that he spilled oil on his clothing and he needed a change of clothes brought to him and new boots brought to him. And then it would be staged to look like the Lexus was caught in this explosion. Again, don't know the ins and outs of that, but she wouldn't have had to drive out to she wouldn't have had to drive out to the tanks where they be caught in the explosion because the fracking wells and pipes run underneath the ground to the main roads throughout that Serby Ranch area. So that's what I think. But I do think that it's possible that like they were going to stage, either way, they were going to stage text messages between Chris and Shanann that would have got the Lexus out there. Whether it was her confronting him about finding out the affair, I don't know, because I think that NK and Chris wanted the work area to think that they weren't having an affair, which is why they staged the emails between them of her saying things like, I want someday to have what you have with your kids and wife. And as of right now, I think we should remain friends. Like, I think those emails between them were totally staged. And it was to like distance herself from Chris for when this explosion happened, that people, because she was part of health and safety. I agree, Melanie. Yes. Yeah. And there's also text messages of Shanann talking about taking the kids out of school to save money too. So they were going to move and they were going to take this kids out of the daycare preschool because you have to pay each week. And there was text messages between her and her friends, like of her talking about that. So I think that Chris was just playing her. Like, we're going to work on things and we're going to make steps to save money and this and that. But that obviously wasn't the plan. That's clarifying things, but I think Danielle had a part. I think so too. I just don't know like what her role exactly was. But the fact that she was over on the night that NK was searching like hours of porn and orgies and all that is interesting, to say the least. Shoes have solved mysteries in the past. She needed new boots. Yeah, it's strange. Some people will be like, oh, you're reaching. But that's why I just don't believe the narrative that he did all this for NK. And isn't it interesting that the Lifetime movie is the only names that they kept the same were the victims' names and Nicole Kessinger's name in that movie. And obviously Chris, because he doesn't have any rights anyways. Like, once he goes to prison, like, they didn't have to worry about him suing them for using his real name. But they used Nicole Kessinger's name. But they changed Ronnie and Cindy Watts' name in the movie and Sandy and Frank's name in the Lifetime movie. And Sandy and Frank said that they had no involvement in the Lifetime movie. Very, very weird. And that Lifetime movie came out quick. Actually, let me check the date of when that came out. And they painted Nicole in that movie as like so innocent and gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And it's like, that's not at all what she looked like. Or even, oh my gosh. Oh, it came out in 2020. Okay, so it came out 2 years after. January 25th, 2020, it came out. Now let me see the Netflix. I'm just curious the dates of like release. That was September 2020. So Lifetime movie comes out first with their narrative. I'm going to add Scottish Queen up for the last like couple or 20 minutes probably. So before I bring her up, I want to make sure she knows that her camera's on before I just add her. So I'll give her a second to get settled. Just give me the thumbs up, Scottish, when you want me to add you. She just left. She's like, how do I turn this camera off? No, I'm just kidding. I told her she didn't have to turn it on, though. She just wanted to chill and hang out with us. Yeah, it's so annoying the majority of people believe those movies. I agree. And I find it interesting that the documentary on Netflix that the family had a part in came out after. Are you ready, Scottish? Oh, it looks like she's frozen. Jim acted like a handler to NK. Yeah, she doesn't look like somebody that I would throw away my whole family for. Not that looks are everything, but they just try. It's just so weird that the Lifetime movie tried to paint her as like absolutely gorgeous and like drop dead, sexy. Hold on, let me see if I can look it up. I'm going to add you, Scottish. Is that okay? Okay. Hi.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
You're totally fine.
I don't know what's going on with my broadband. I've been trying for 20 minutes to get in. It's crazy.
You're fine. We've kept ourselves busy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, gonna miss it again.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to see like images of Nicole Kessinger from the Lifetime movie, like how they wanted her portrayed.
Oh, right, okay.
Because they like painted her as like so beautiful. Why am I seeing it? And
I think I've only watched it once, so it was that crap.
And they had Shanann as like an older looking woman.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, definitely. And they kind of made it out as if it was Shanann. It was the issue. You know?
Yes, and they painted her as like so terrible in that.
Yeah.
Ordering for Chris. It's like that never happened.
Exactly, but sometimes when you do go out, you know what your partner's going to eat. So sometimes you could be in a restaurant and you go, right, we're having that and that. It's not a big deal, you know. Sometimes as well, you know.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, I'm sure you've been into a restaurant. I've done it, and you know, I even know what my daughter has in a certain restaurants. You know.
Right.
So
this is who they had play NK.
Right. She looks Chinese. Am I allowed to say Chinese?
She's beautiful and not at all what Nicole looked like.
That's what I'm saying. She looks kind of exotic. Like,
yeah.
Did you get what I mean? Yeah.
I think NK had a part in the Lifetime movie. Like, I think that she.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Either that or she was like, if you say anything slanderous, I'm gonna sue you. Something was off there, you know. And then they had her typing up, you know, kidding on that after the murders, that's when she found out everything, like he was married and that. Yeah.
No.
You wish. You know. It was, definitely a crazy one, that one. But who played Shanann in that? I can't remember.
She's also pretty. Hold on, let me show. But it's
but
still
she was
like an older woman. Like Shanann was only
34.
Right. Hold on. Yeah, her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shame this woman at all, but like she's much older than Shanann.
Yeah. Yes, and she doesn't look. I don't know. I don't really like Lifetime films. They're not accurate at all. Most of them aren't. You know, it's as if they've kind of quickly got it together without actually looking at the facts, or even waiting. I mean, that was out within months, wasn't it? Like, that came out after the trial. It wasn't even, was it a year?
It was like beginning of 2020. By the end of January, I looked it up that they
Right.
had it already out. And
Right,
people
so by the
literally
time you film that,
yeah, they take that that movie as like truth of this case. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh,
that and the Netflix documentary. I mean, yeah, most of it is, but it's. I think that's more Shanann's parents had a lot to do with that one. You
yeah.
know, I think you would have to have somebody that wasn't part of any of them do a movie and just tell the truth, you know.
Exactly. And isn't it interesting that, like, wait, did you see earlier that I was showing Rourke recently?
No, I've missed that part.
Gosh, he looks terrible.
Probably the guilt getting to him.
Exactly what we were saying. Like this, I'll show it again.
Right, hang on. I'll look
Not
on
the
that.
greatest because I'm showing from my phone.
Right, hang on. I'll look on my. Right there. Wow. God, he's aged a bit.
Much more than 7 years, doesn't it look like?
Yeah. Is he still is it the DA?
Yes.
Is he still?
Yes.
Still?
Yeah, this is the Weld County District Attorney Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought for a second that something was removed, but it wasn't. Okay, yeah, that's the most recent. Let's see. Oh my gosh, and that was January this year. So, yeah, I'm sure he looks worse even now. Yeah, but no, we were just saying like all the. I mean,
look at us laughing. We're like 7 years older.
yeah, I'm feeling much better about my aging in 7 years.
Take for yourself. Take for yourself.
2 days later. But wow, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows a lot more, and
he looks older than 54 to me.
Yeah, definitely stress, probably, and maybe guilt. I don't know, because he knows the truth. I think there's more in the documents. I mean, Chris got a lot of them sealed as his plea deal, so I think, what was it, the girls' autopsies and some of Shanann's?
And like, obviously, like the pictures and stuff, like.
Yeah, so he had his deal, so whatever was in his deal has been hidden, you know, it's definitely.
And people think that once he's out of office and a new district attorney comes in, that like the case could get reopened. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't. I just would have doubts. But it would be interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting if all of a sudden there was like leaks of information that came out? Like, I'm not asking for like images, because I don't.
Well, unfortunately, the only person alive now, well, apart from NK, if she was, I know we have to say if she was involved, but we do believe she is Chris Watts. And how many confessions as he gave? He'd been unreliable witness, you know. So
there's been like
a hard one.
Probably close to 5 different confessions of Chris.
Yeah, 5 that I know of now. So and they all go in different directions, you know. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get the truth out of him, but I don't know. Doubtful.
And
I don't know. I don't think he can admit to himself what's happened. Maybe.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the problem. He can't admit.
And I also think it's possible that he might not have been a witness for all three of them. And I know
Yeah.
people get very upset. I'm not taking the blame off of Chris. I'm just
Oh,
wondering
no.
if other people were involved in the children's death.
Yeah, I've always said that there was more than one person in that house to carry Shanann out. And let's just say, for talking's sake, because people are going to argue she was dead or she was alive. Either way, if you're dead, you're a dead weight. So how he managed to get her out the house and into that van without anybody seeing anything, and why would you take a dead body out the front? You know, crazy.
Yeah. And he's not a genius by any means, but I just would never believe that he carried Shanann's dead body out the front door or the garage.
When you see Nate's body camera, you don't see him struggling with anything. Like a dead body, he would have to drag her. I mean, he said he couldn't carry her up the stairs. That's why he banged her down the stairs, apparently.
Yeah.
So how did he then manage to get the strength to lift her up and carry her in his arms and put her nicely into the back of the truck?
Right. There was no movement in the truck, like, of some heavy dead weight, pardon the phrase, but getting adjusted or settling in to the back seat on the floor is where he said.
I always believed she was taken out the back by somebody. Always believed that she was either unconscious or tied up or maybe threatened. If you don't keep quiet, we're going to do this to your kids or that, you know, something.
And never
taken out the back.
Shot that was heard that night.
And
that
on you go. We're like,
it's just like noteworthy that it was before that she got home, yes, but it doesn't mean that she wasn't threatened at gunpoint to leave out the back door.
Yeah. Nobody knows who was in the house. All we know is the Vivian. I was actually looking, somebody liked a post from years ago, and I'd forgot all about that. I wrote it. All we know is the Vivian, Chris turned it off at 2:30, which turned the router, turned all the stuff in the house off, you know, what do you call it? It comes on when you walk into a room, and all the Wi-Fi stuff, basically, everything goes off. And they couldn't work out what he'd done to it, but he turned it off. But I can't remember if it was his Wi-Fi. No, the Wi-Fi must have been on, because on Chris's phone, he goes out the house for 20 minutes. The door opens and he goes out for 20 minutes, comes back in.
Yeah.
You know, so was he going out to get NK to bring her in, put all the cameras off, you know, things like that. He had messed about with the cameras and deleted a lot of the stuff before the police had. I think they only had Shanann coming in. There was nothing after that, you know. And if he was going in and out to get his car, even going for his truck, should have set that off, you know. So definitely.
Yeah, that's all part of like the premeditation, like the plan, you know, turn off the home security stuff and leave no trace of this or that, like just in case there was like a investigation into all that.
And I always believe that Chris and NK can't remember the 101 phone call is because, and this is my opinion, nobody has to believe it, because she'd left her phone at home and she was driving on her way there, you know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So the night, Sunday, while Shanann is, at that point, her flight had been delayed because of the windstorms to leave Arizona to head back to Colorado, got delayed. During that time, it's shown through NK's phone records, and I'm assuming Chris's, because they have both, that they had an 111-minute conversation.
But none of them can remember.
None of them like will specify what was said or remember what was said. In fact, I don't even think they ever asked Chris about it that we have on record.
I don't know. No, I can't remember. You know, we need to go over these interviews.
I know.
And find out. I can't remember whether they did ask him.
The NK's voice that long.
I know.
Hours and hours.
We've done it once, I know. Should we put ourselves through it again?
But at the same time, we always point out interesting things that are said like throughout our interviews. That it's like,
and there's so much. And when we're on the group, somebody will like pop up an old post, and I'll go, "Yeah, that as well." You know, I forgot about that. You know, so it's good that we have the group and we've kept like everything, so people can go back and have a wee look, and we can put the stuff, even the body cam footage, we've got all that, so we can put it on. I don't know if you've already had it on, but that's interesting. You can kind of see how everybody reacts.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
especially the police that are like, something's going on here, you know.
And you know what's interesting when you think about like little things that were said? So before they extracted the bodies from the crime scene in the tanks, Peter was talking to Chris after the alleged confession. And I say alleged confession because we know that Shanann didn't kill the kids at that time. And at that time, that was the confession.
That was his only way out, basically, at that time, you know.
Yes. And they, Coder asked Chris, like, if there was anything that was going to explode or catch on fire when they removed the bodies, remember?
Yeah.
And Chris was like, no. Hey, Jay, good to see you. He was saying no. And it's like, so that means the night that Chris was arrested, Coder and law enforcement at the time were thinking that it's possible that they were going to explode something.
Yeah.
Why
definitely.
Chris, or would Coder ask Chris that?
Yeah.
And then when they go to the prison interview, they follow all those questions up again.
I was just going to say what you're going to say, but on you go.
Yeah, no, go ahead. It's like, it obviously was something in their mind.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't what you were going to say, but Chris Watts did ask, is there anything in the pipes in the house? Have you found?
Yeah, that too.
Remember?
Yeah.
Have you found, and I wonder if they ever found anything in the pipes. I never checked, you know, because that would be the first thing before you sell a house. If a murderer is saying, have you checked the pipes? You know?
I know, it was really weird. And they were like, oh, no, the water's been shut off. Like, I don't
not
even
the
know
water they're worrying about.
Yeah. Was he even referring to the water pipes? I don't know.
Yeah, or the gas.
Yeah.
Was he doing something to knock them out, you know?
Oh, yeah, that too.
You know?
I know, there's
something like that. There's so much, but I think that wasn't what you were going to say, but...
No, I was just going to say, and I know that you know this too, but in the prison interview, they say, were your plans to cause an explosion that day? And he said, no, because I wouldn't have wanted people nearby to get hurt.
Oh.
And it's like...
So kind of you. You know, you've just killed your kids.
Wow, what a
and you're like, wow. You know?
It's interesting. Thank you so much, Jay, and welcome to the new members. Thank you guys, everyone who's gifted tonight. I really appreciate it. But like, the thing is too, like Survey 319 was one of the furthest out sites that Anadarko had, like in that area.
Yeah.
So there would not have been any risk of like other people like getting involved in it, except
exactly because it was getting closed down. It was that far away. It was one of the ones that was getting It was too old. So it was a perfect one for an explosion because it was old.
It was old.
They were ready to shut it down.
Yeah, and nobody would have really been like, wait, no, this was orchestrated because it was old and it had been documented that it had an oil leak.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You just wonder what would have happened if Nicole Atkinson hadn't turned it. I wonder what we would probably still be talking about it, but I think he would have still get caught. I think that would have been, but would we have known where they were? It's a hard one, It's funny how fate just, intervenes just a bit too late, unfortunately,
I know.
For them, a couple hours earlier, maybe. But then they didn't know, that's the thing. But, yeah, I just totally believe that they all were killed out in Serbia because there's nobody, as you said, there's nobody about for miles. If Shanann wanted to scream and shout, she's on her bare feet in a nightie. She isn't going very far. She's pregnant. And if there's a few of them, I've always said that I believe that she was murdered in her grave, strangled in her grave, and then just the dirt put on top of her, because there's nothing in the house to suggest that she was murdered there at all, nothing. So you would need 2 trucks. So that also brings the suggestion of other people being there,
And of all mornings for NK to call Jim.
Yeah, exactly. And he happens to be there as well.
Right.
And where was he? Where exactly was he at 6:30?
Right.
That he was ready to pick up the phone,
Yeah.
He was waiting in that call.
Who
or
called
either
their
that,
friend at 6 a.m?
Yeah, or he was at Survey, or God, there's so many people we could go through. The workers. How many people do you need to go to a rundown survey? And they're all telling different stories, and
I'm just so curious what that was about, the phone call, because it was only like a minute long.
Yeah, I often wonder if he was at survey.
I know.
Why?
And remember,
did she accidentally put her phone on, forgetting where she was, or had she just left it? I don't even know.
I know.
At this point, we go down so many rabbit holes that
I know.
I think we've been down them all. It's like, somebody tell us the truth now. Just come out with it. But I think, definitely there's more. Definitely more to it. But I think Chris will just tell anybody what they want to hear, to be honest now.
And the fact that it's been 7... Okay, at first, when this crime is committed and everything goes down and the media and all that, it's crazy. But, like, we only get very little information from Chris, like, now that he's in prison. So it's not the main story anymore. There's been other cases along the way. Good night, Seth. Thanks for being here.
Night, Seth.
Yes, exactly. The guy who threw the beer can and then drove back for it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Remember?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so whatever I was just talking about, I forgot because this sidetracked me. But
yeah,
interesting.
I know. I was reading it and I'm going, I remember that. That is what I'm saying. We know so much, but we actually forget how much we know until somebody says something, and then we're like, oh yeah, I remember that. There's so much to the case. Once you get into it, you read the discovery, you watch all the lives, everything. There's a lot of it, there's definitely a lot of suspicion going on. You've got Betty next door seeing something like NK's truck just before Shanann came home, that parked behind. Oh no, when she was going out for the gym at 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, going to
She
the
said she
another reason why I don't think that he would have carried her out the front, because that was a daily thing that Betty did.
And that one morning she said to the police, and the police didn't really take that up. We've got it somewhere on video on the body cam, but she said, "Oh, I thought you were here because of the car that was behind my neighbour's truck. It was unusual."
She saw a random truck. Melanie said, "Wait, what?" Okay, so I don't know. We've discussed.
Sorry, am I speaking? Am I speaking too fast?
No, not you. Just people haven't heard the story of the neighborhood canvas on body cam.
All right.
So
all right.
I'll catch everyone up real quick.
Yeah. There is a body cam footage if you go look for it.
Yeah. So there, I've just tried to type it in and pull it up. I know I can find it, but just not right now. We'll get into it in the future. But to sum it up, pretty much they have body cam of them doing a neighborhood canvas, handing out Shanann and the girls flyers because at the time they're just missing. And they go to this one neighbor's house in the neighborhood, and her son was the witness of it, I believe, wasn't he? Like, he like ended up, she said, "Oh, my son saw something," and then like he told them that he saw a white guy. Whoops. He saw
about the can, right? Yeah,
the beer can. Yeah, he saw a white guy in a baseball cap. I think he said it was on backwards, maybe. Anyways, he was wearing a baseball cap. Throw a beer can out his truck window, and then he observed that same guy come back around and pick up the beer can. And this was all in like the first day of like Monday, Murder Monday.
Yeah.
It could be nothing, but why? It's just strange. If you're going to be a scumbag, and toss something out the window, why all of a sudden did you decide to go pick it up? And add in the fact that obviously DNA could have been found on it. Add in the fact that it just...
Maybe that was maybe it's like something he's done regular,
Yeah, so some people think that could have been leave Jim alone. I also think it could have been the coworker.
Yeah. Just somebody, that's used to throwing stuff out the window, and then they went, "Oh shit, my DNA's on that." Sorry. Oh crap. My DNA's on that, and went back and got it, And then you have Betty, who had, as we said, had said to them that the car was the same as Chrissy's but smaller, and it had a crate on the top, the exact same as NK's. It stayed there.
She described smaller. Yeah, a truck that we linked back to NK's family.
And who left it then? Nicole Atkinson to go to the doctors to see if Shanann had. So I believe that Enki was in that house, and that's when she took her chance to get out the house, was when Nicole Atkinson went to the doctors, because it disappears after that. And that woman seems like next door Betty, one of the kind of nosy neighbours that knows everything, So, yeah, there was definitely something. And she said at 5 o'clock there was 2 trucks parked outside his house. So there is evidence there. They've just not, I don't know whether they're hoping that people will not go through the body cam footage and not pick up these wee things, or go through all the stuff we've been through. But we've picked out quite a few things that are like, hang on, that doesn't make sense,
And also, why hasn't there been a documentary or like a crime show or anything that has like Agent Tammy or District Attorney speaking out about the case again. Like they've been
I don't know.
quiet.
Hang on. I don't know. I thought I watched something recently.
I think over there, you
And
guys.
it's always Tammy that comes on. It's never anybody else. And she's always got the waterworks and the, you know.
Yeah, there was something more recent that I know
Yeah.
that people in the
It was called over here something caught lying.
Watch Faking It. Was it that?
Yeah. Watch
It
Faking
was?
It. Yeah. Couldn't remember the name of it. I watch it as well.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. Apparently it's on HBO Max over here, but I think it was something that like over there you guys got before we did.
Which is unusual because usually you get all that kind of stuff first.
Yeah. Oh, and this was 2021, so really not that recent.
Right, okay, yeah. Well, I think that was the last kind of thing I've seen then.
Yeah.
Over. But at one point, anything to do with Watts, and she was on it, you know.
Yes. Literally, like there was so many things. Remember, it was like Shanann's friend speak, and then like and district attorney, the assistant district attorney, and Tammy were in all of them. But FBI agent Coder has never once publicly spoken out about the case. Isn't that interesting?
Yep. It's strange, yeah. Didn't he end up with mental health issues because of the case?
That was Baumhover.
Right, am I getting them mixed up? Right, so which one's Baumhover again? He's the one in the red, isn't he, in the body cam? He's
in like the
red shirt.
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking up.
Oh, the one in the interview room with her. The one that was speaking to Chris. I don't think he's ever spoke out.
Yeah, he never has spoken out. I'm looking to see like where he's at nowadays too. Just agent Coder. Not seeing anything. I think he still works for FBI though. You didn't hear earlier, but apparently you know the Barry Morphew case.
Yeah.
So when Barry first got arrested before they found Suzanne's body, like remember they let him go? Because they didn't have like enough on him without her body and all that. Apparently he's suing Colorado State for false imprisonment and false conviction, like because of all that. Or not conviction, but yeah, false arrest. And he's also suing Agent Kobach.
Really?
Yeah.
So he must have interviewed him at some point then.
Kobach was involved in the Suzanne Morphew case, and that got fumbled the first time around before her body was found.
Wow.
So I'm curious like what exactly Kobach did for him to be like specifically named, but they didn't elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Denise said, Tammy is still excited that people were pimping her style with that cardigan.
Oh my God, that cardigan.
Terrible.
Oh God. I know. I think didn't that cardigan end up sold out in America? Well, Truecrime or like something like that. I didn't buy it either.
I didn't know anybody who bought it.
No, either did I. Didn't know anybody.
That never stood out to me as like an amazing piece of clothing either. Like
no,
why would
to
you
me that's like an everyday. I'd wear that in the house, like just to be comfy.
Yeah, I know, I'm not going under. Why would you wear that? Well, she probably thinks like, oh, talk all the shit you want. I got the confession. It's like you got a false confession. You fed the theory that
you fed them basically. You know, it's
and the defense team was going to use that theory in trial.
Were they? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hang on, I'm just
said.
fixing my
interview that his lawyers were going to pull out any trick they could and that they were ready to go to bat for him and that they were going to use the theory that Shanann killed the girls.
I'm just looking, I'm behind on you and I've just seen the side of my hair and I'm not looking anymore. That's
gosh, you're fine.
Out.
I don't even have like the light too bright either because I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna hide in the dark tonight and hang out.
I know. I've tried to put it down as low as I can at the moment without going completely out because I completely forgot it was Sunday and then you text and I'm like, right, give me half an hour.
You're totally fine. I'm just happy you jumped on because I don't know. I'm pretty much, unless there was anything that the chat wanted to ask us, like that we could elaborate on, like I'm kind of good for tonight, just hopping off. Of course, you're always welcome any Sunday, so you know where to find me Sunday.
Yeah, well, you have to send the link. So, yeah, just send it every Sunday, so, and then I'll jump on. But, yeah, we need to maybe do something that, see what the chat want to, is there anything, any area they want us to kind of go over, revisit, you know?
If you guys have anything like that you want to ask us before we kind of close out, but just happy you guys were all here and that you jumped up with me for a minute. So good to kind of chat with you.
I know. I feel like, I know you were like, oh, just come on and put the camera off, but I feel like when we're not talking face to face, it's not the same, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is nice to have like a face-to-face conversation, even on panel.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, it looks like everyone in chat is good. What we'll do is another post in the Facebook group about questions, and we can actually reference the one that we have an ongoing thread of because we just didn't like get to it tonight. We were already chatting, but everyone's happy you jumped on. So again, thank you. I'm ready to just call it a night. We've done enough Watts discussion today. Sometimes it gets to the point where I'm just like so sick by this case of like, not sick of talking about it, but sick to my stomach about how it went down. Like,
yeah, I get it. I totally understand that.
Not explaining her cyber stalking the family. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's obviously when you get new members as well, you've got to go over the stuff again because, you know,
there's so much that we forget, like the small details, and it's all in the details. And we have to keep kind of putting this out there because it's a problem. Like the media is going to keep painting it as Chris acted alone.
Yeah, they always will. That's something that's final for them at the moment. That's case closed, move on. Unless he starts to do any, I don't know, unless he decides to write a book, Chris Watts, or he decides to get some famous person in to do an interview with him, which I think like high profile murderers can do, I think.
Yeah.
So, like Ted Bundy and that done it, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to use this new, apparently he's like married, but not legally. Like, but I'm wondering if this new wife or whoever she is going to write her book or something like that and be like the voice.
Well, every girlfriend he's had, like, has sold the letters and everything to the papers as soon as she's got them. She's look.
I wonder if that's the thing is, I don't even know if that's the same girl. I just kind of speculated that it was, or it's another female pen pal. But if it is the same girl, it kind of does align with my theory that he's gonna use this new wife as his like mouthpiece for, because right now she's come out saying that he's a new person and that God sees him as a new person.
Yeah. Okay. Aye, exactly.
Meanwhile, he hasn't told the truth.
A lot of people actually think they see him the way he is when he's with Shanann or when he murdered them, and he's slim, you know, he's been working out and that. But now that he's been in jail, he's practically bald, grey, and very overweight, you know, so he's not, they're just thinking, oh, he's
District Attorney Rourke.
yeah, exactly. So he's not what he was when people, I don't know, these fangirls write to him. They're thinking he's still looking. No, he doesn't get to go to the gym every day, and you know,
not doing sit-ups even in his
yeah,
cell or whatever.
What was that thing NK always said? Is it not calories? What was it? We were working on our. I was helping him on his. What was it
called? Macros.
Yeah, macros. Not getting that either. You know.
And I know that we've all probably changed in the last 7 years, but think about Attorney Rourke's appearance, Nicole Kessinger's recent appearance, and Chris's appearance. Like, I think that we all probably are aging better.
Maybe some of us more.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others. You know.
All right. Well, thank you again, my friend, for coming on.
No bother. Sorry I was late, but as you know, I'll be late for my own funeral. So,
we love you for it.
Yeah, always late. Like to make an entrance. But yeah, we're working something for next week.
Yes, we'll work on something for next week. We'll find something interesting to point out to you guys, because I know a lot of people didn't even know that about the neighborhood canvas. But thank you to my moderators, everyone who liked the stream and who donated and just hung out with us. And thank you for coming.
Thank you. And sorry I was only on for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes.
It's perfect. Like that. It's a perfect ending.
So yeah, okay.
I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.